Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a Jamaican living in the Netherlands for the past 14 years. Please feel free to subscribe, share, and check out my links. My life in the Netherlands.
Welcome to my life in the Netherlands. Um, I'm taping at night. I have decided to do it at night. Now I know it sounds very crazy because it's like 15 minutes to 1 in the middle of the morning. So it's actually not night, it's in the morning. Why I made this decision? Well, as I said before in my first video, I've been living in the Netherlands for the past 14 years. And my second year in the Netherlands, I started attending school to learn the language. And what I've come to realize is that I need the night to study. I need the night to get stuff done because the night is very quiet and very peaceful and I can focus more. So for the past 13 years, I did 2 years of Dutch. Then I did child development. I did other courses, went back to school for preschool teaching, and I'm always studying at night. For me, it works way better. Yesterday, when I woke up, I decided I was going to do my second video, and I said to myself, I just work better at night. So I'm up and I decided to, get some extra lamps and stuff and just to make it bright. And this is the plan I'm going to go with and see how far I reach. So, what is my plan for this morning? My plan is to share information about the city where I'm living, which is in Arnhem. So I did my research. I'm a numbers girl. So I did my research and I have the information that I want to share. First, I want to say the Netherlands have more than 17 million people. Now, in my last school study, I was told that it was 18 million, but when I did my research, the last update that is on the internet is like almost 17.5 million people living in the Netherlands. And in this, where I'm living is in Arnhem, and that's the capital of Gelderland. And in Gelderland, there is more than 2 million people living here. In Arnhem, where I'm at, it's like 161,000 people and counting here. I also did my research because not in my neighborhood, but the neighborhood beside me, there also is a refugee center. So I did my research to find out how many refugee centers we actually have here, and I've come to find out that's just one, the one that is not far from my neighborhood. And I try to find out how many refugees living at the center. Well, that I couldn't figure out, but I did some other research, and I think it's about 700 refugees living there. And what I've come to realize is that the most of the refugees that are in Europe actually they're coming from the Middle East. And I also found out that for this year, no, it was 2019, more than 75 million people flee their country. Was it 2019 or 2020? I don't want to give any wrong information. If it's not this year, it's last year, but it's between. So that's a lot of people fleeing from war. And that's what I've discovered. Most of the people that are fleeing from their countries, they're actually fleeing from wars. Okay, in the city of Arnhem where I live, the Netherlands used to be a country that's about two religion was dominated in the many years ago. It was like the Catholic and the Protestant. And I've never been personally to a Catholic church, but I know that in every city there is a Catholic church. It's just all over the place. They are beautifully designed from outside and spectacular inside. And I know that the ones that are no longer used, they don't normally, the Catholic people, I'm assuming, they don't normally rent their churches or lease their churches or sell them. They just have them empty and standing. Why, I don't know. But they're very beautiful inside and out. The designs are just magnificent. I mean, they have one that's in, I believe it was Spain we went to a few years ago, and it's like still building. And it is something to behold. So they are very beautiful. So in the city, what we have special here, we have like a trolley bus. We have buses that runs online, and it's nowhere else but in Arnhem where I'm living. So it has like an electrical, it has like metal connected to it, and it goes on the line, and that is only in Arnhem. But in the entire country, we have bicycle tracks. They're all painted in red, and it's for the bicycle specifically. However, you can also use scooter that goes, I think, 30 kilometer per hour. Can also go on it, but it's specifically made for bicycle, and it is very effective because it goes faster and it's also more economical. It is quite cheaper. So that is something that's very interesting here. Now, and this is what goes on at the bus stop. This is the board that gives the information on where the buses are going and what time they will be leaving. And then this is our bicycle track. This is something I really wanted to do this morning. In the Netherlands, we have our own bicycle track, and so this is our bicycle track. This is the road for the bikes, and only the bikes. And then you have your normal road. And the bike tracks on the left and on the right. Whew. It's dark, it's cold, and the weather is better. And this is my neighborhood. This is the neighborhood that I live in. This is a normal bus. This bus doesn't run on an electrical system. Okay, and someone on the bike. In the Netherlands, we have more than 250 different nationalities. And how much is in Arnhem specifically, I really don't know, but I do know that it's quite diverse. I've only lived in Arnhem. I've never lived anywhere else, so I can't say if Arnhem is the best or not. I do like living here. When I first came, I lived in North, and now I'm in South. Okay, what is in South? The houses in South, in my opinion, they're bigger and they're cheaper. I don't know if they're cheaper when it has to do with rent, but I know when it comes to do with purchasing a house, then some of the houses here are cheaper than in North. This is a purchase home, so I only can speak from a mortgage standpoint and not from a renting standpoint because I don't have the knowledge of that. So this house is very spacious. It's like 3 floors and it's comfortable. It's like a complete family house for at least 3 kids. Front garden and back garden. And most of the houses in South that I've been in, they are quite spacious. Now there are some houses with less garden at the front and less garden at the back. A friend of mine have a very small garden at the front and little to no garden at the back. But the house itself is quite spacious. I have more garden at my front and more at the back than what she has. So that is it about South. What we also have in Arnhem that I really like is that the bridge, I'm telling you, I'm fat, but I'm not this fat. I mean, this camera thing is just really, I have to adjust to it. I look way fatter than I actually am. And my girls are just way bigger than they actually are. Now, if they were as big as what I'm now seeing, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it's just not right to see something that you don't have. So I'm quite annoyed by it. I've been trying to adjust by it, just do it for a few minutes now, and it's not working. I just have too much girls here. I'll figure it out as I go along because I can't have all this girl. It's just my girls are just not that big. So where am I? So what we have here, we have a tribute to Mandela Bridge. We have a Mandela Bridge, and I personally, because I 10 years ago I started reading about Mandela. I actually went to a book club thing and I saw a book about Mandela, and I took up the book. It was written in English. I bought it. I think I paid like £15 for it because it was in pound, and I had pound because I went to England before, so I actually paid for it in pound, and then I just started following Mandela crazy. Just wanted to know everything that I could about him. So once I realized that one of the bridge, because I've been going on the bridge for a while and I didn't realize that it was Mandela was actually on that bridge. But once I figured it out, that's my route. Uh, by car, that's the route I want to take. And if I'm going with my e-bike, that's the route I take. I just really love to see Nelson Mandela hanging on that bridge. Anything else about this city that I would like to share? We have tons of restaurants, mostly foreign restaurants, in my opinion. Now, when I first came to the Netherlands to live in Arnhem, we did not have KFC, but what we have is several McDonald's. We have one in the shopping mall in Kronenburg. We have one in the city. We have one in Pressikaf. We have one by the football station. We have one at the train station. We have a Burger King at the train station, and we have one KFC. And the KFC came, I think, quite a few years ago, and it's also very diverse, different nationalities are working there. They're mostly nice and friendly. We have a variety of Chinese restaurants here, and Indonesian restaurants, Suriname restaurants. So far, I haven't seen any African restaurants or restaurants from people from Curacao. But I actually know one guy that said he used to have his own restaurant. He's from Curacao. And now he makes the food in his house and he deliver it, or you can go there and pick it up. So Arnhem is a very diverse place, and we have also the zoo. We have, I think, the second biggest zoo in Europe. I've heard that before from someone, I'm not sure. It's quite huge. It's something to see. I'm not entirely a fan of having animals in captivity, so I really didn't follow it up. But I have a daughter, she's 8, and I take her sometimes just to give her knowledge about animals. So we have that here, and we have a lot of visitors there. When you're there, at any moment you will hear German, French, um, German or French, or then you hear English or Portuguese, because it looks to me like people from different countries really enjoy coming to Arnhem and visiting the zoo. We also have a thing that's called the Open Look Museum, and there you can see old Dutch houses, what the houses were like before the war, trains. They are like diverse things that you can see from before the war. Now, after the war, things has changed, blah, blah, blah. Quite a few things happening. Nijmegen is a city that's close to me, and what I've learned doing studying the history of this country is that during the war, America and England, they were trying to help free the Dutch people, and they decided they were going to drop a bomb in Germany to kill the bad guys. However, they made a mistake and they dropped the bomb in the Netherlands. The same people they were trying to free, they dropped a bomb on them and killed quite a few people. So that's war, the casualty of war. You're trying to help and then you do something wrong. Use is also a place that used to be German, but now that's a part of the Netherlands. Now I'm going to go ahead and assume that it was taken over after the war, that the Netherlands took that piece. But what I learned in school is that officially that piece of land actually belongs to the Germany. It was a part of Germany. And what I also learned in the history is that New York, which is in the United States of America, was New Amsterdam, because the Netherlands first owned New York, and then gave it up and took over Suriname. So they went there and they enslaved the people in Suriname. So New York used to be New Amsterdam, and it was owned by the Netherlands. Now, what is my plan? My plan is to do different research on the country and bring you guys the information, video what I'm doing, and you learn and I will learn at the same time. So we're both learning together, because there are a lot of stuff that I know. I really know, because I got 100% when it comes to the history of this country when I was studying for my Dutch passport. So I do know a lot, but certainly I don't know everything, and there is no one in the world that knows everything. So I will learn more things, and I've seen a lot of the Netherlands also, but I've seen it from the water side. And I said the water side because my daughter granddad has a boat, a sailing boat. And when I first came here, I usually go sailing with him in the summer. So I've seen a lot of the country, but it's from the water side. And what I've discovered is that a lot of the places that we sailed to when we got to land and we docked, I never really go far, because I've come to realize that a lot of the places were white dominated. Now, I am fully aware of the fact that I'm living in what we will call a white man's country. But when I go to places, when I see that there is no one that looks like me, I tend to feel very uncomfortable, and then I retreat because I am so outnumbered. It's not funny. I'm not a fan of crowd. No, that is something I figure out the older I get. When I was younger, I would go to function with a lot of people. But as I'm getting older, I started realizing I'm really not a fan of crowd. But when I go to Amsterdam, I like it because then I see, whoops, every nationality and a lot of people that looks like me. And it's the same thing when I go to Rotterdam. It's just like, whoops. And I do have it here sometimes, not all the times, but I do have it here sometimes. So when we go sailing and then we arrive at a place, We get out and I'm walking around and I realize that, okay, I've seen at least 30 people now. I've seen at least 40 people now. I'm in the shopping area and I see no one that looks like me. I'm like, I'm not comfortable. So now I say, I'd rather to go back to the boat and read a book, just do something else because I'm not comfortable. I'm getting better with it now. This past summer we went sailing and I had, oh, my tummy. I'm hungry in the middle of the morning. So when I got off the boat, we were going around. The first day we went around, I saw no one that looks like me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with this thing. I'm gonna continue. And then the second day, when I got off, it was the same thing. And the third day, I was like, okay, this is not gonna change, so I'm gonna make myself comfortable. So what I did, I decided I'm gonna watch Meet the Mitchells because that is what I do when I'm at home. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to continue my routine. I'm going to get out the vacation mood and get in my routine and watch what I want to watch and do what I want to do. And then we sailed to an island where I was struggling to find reception and it was really, really difficult because then we were at a Saturday and I wanted to watch story time and I couldn't get to watch my story times. I was literally having a fit. So I was moving up and down and just trying to figure out how am I going to get a little bit of internet reception here to function. And then finally I figured out if I just get out the boat from inside, go on the top and lean to the left. There you go. I got it. And then my vacation was complete. Was very, very happy. So I'm adjusting to it. I'm accepting it now because also my daughter is in a school where I think it's about 9 biracial kids and maybe 5 black kids. So, and I'm pretty comfortable there. So I'm adjusting. I'm not leaving places anymore or retreats. I'm being much more social and accepting the situation. This took quite a while, accepting the situation that I'm in. Okay, so this was my video for this morning, and yeah, it's a learning process. Um, Going in the direction that my head tells me to go in. I'm just moving with the flow and see what happens. So, good morning from the Netherlands.